Beautiful day to you, beautiful people. How have you been today? We thank God we are able to communicate via this channel. All glory belong to God. Not because we are good, not because we pray regularly, but it is merely because of His undeserved kindness. Hmm. In English studies this morning, or should I say today, we'll be focusing our attention on the aspect of literature. And our attention will be on the topic literary terms. Wow! How does that sound? Have you heard of the word literary terms before? What do we mean by literary terms? Many a person uses different expressions every day to communicate the idea to their listeners. Some go straight to the point, while some beat about the bush. However, whatever medium we use, as long as people decipher and decode whatever we have communicated, we are communicating. Well, at this junction, we should have it in mind that the term literary terms has been given several definitions by different persons in the field of literature. But in this course, we are going to look at literary terms as the techniques that writers or speakers employ to emphasize, embellish, or strengthen their thoughts, either in writing or in speech. For example, I could just say, I don't like talking 90 to the dozen. I'm not a parrot. How will it ever be possible for a full-grown man like me to be an animal like parrot? But I have just used an expression to compare A to B, comparing what a man is to what a parrot is, a talking machine. That is literally time as a working definition for this course today. In the attempt rather to define literary terms, we want to focus on the first aspect that we refer to as the imagery. What is imagery? Imagery is a visual description of ideas in the literary work. In fact, it is this that actually creates a mental picture in the listeners. When we say mental picture, what do we mean by mental picture? That is, imagery will create a sensual reasoning in you. For example, you have been told that a man as tall as the electric pole is standing by your door. As tall as the electric pole. How could that be? What will come to your mind? Immediately, your sensorial organs will be working. How could that man be? How gigantic could he be looking? Oh, your friend is as innocent as a dove. These are images. So we are going to see different categories of images. For example, the auditory images, the visual images, the tactile images, olfactory images, and the gustatory images. There are 5 key images, but I'm going to give you 7 categories of images. The auditory has to do with what we hear, the sound. Could it be music? Could it be silence? People say silence doesn't communicate. Does it? Wow, silence communicates. Haven't you heard them saying silence is the best answer given to a fool? So it communicates. Noise, they are auditory. They communicate to our sense of hearing. What about visual images? What we see. Visual images help to communicate what we see, the colors, the pattern, the size. Or say, look at his bag. It is as big as coconut. When you say somebody's bag is as big as coconut, definitely you are describing using a visual paint. The person will immediately visualize how big or how small a coconut is. The tactile, what we feel or touch, the texture, the movements, the temperature, they are here. However, I'm going to sublime temperature as a different category of imagery, and I'm going to sublime movements as a different category of imagery. The gustatory, what we taste, is it bitter, is it salty, is it sweet, acidic, sour. The olfactory is what we smell. The pungence, are the fragrances nice, but others, we pay attention to this. Now let's look at the 7 streamlined categories of images. We are going to focus attention on the image type, what it appeals to, and the set example. Without much ado, let's go straight to number 1. We have the visual images. These appeal to sight as we learned before. For example, we have the golden sun shone brightly. Visual, golden sun. I believe you have seen that. Let's pay attention to the next one. We have auditory images that appeal to hearing. Example is the teacher is disciplined. Or rather, the teacher disciplined the students because they were screaming in the classroom. Did I say they were screaming in the class? No. There's a great difference between classroom and class. Remember from the first day I told you via this medium, when I get to what is popular that is wrong, I will correct it. Do not say go to your class. Class refers to the group of learners, while classroom refers to the environment in which they learn. So pay attention to all these, you see that the learners are referred to as a class, while the particular designation for them to stay and learn in the classroom. Well, we'll talk about that under words commonly misused and supply what we get there. The third one is tactile image, which appeals to the sense of touch. Your hand is as furry as my Rottweiler. Wow! If you see my Rottweiler, you run away. It's like a lion. Good. Now, when I say that your hand is as furry, it means you have plenty hair, just like my dog at home. Rottweiler is a breed of dog, right? How many of you have dogs? Oh, do you wish your dog was fine as mine? Number 4, let's get to the olfactory image. Olfactory image actually appeals to the sense of smell. An example we have as a friend, I can tell you that you stink like a rotten egg. Imagine you stink like a rotten egg. You see, just imagine what how that person smells. What I'm trying to communicate about the odor, the stench one coming from that friend of mine. Okay, let's check the fifth one. Gustatory image appeals to taste. It has become the bitterness of a day-old coffee, which means you don't like this person again. This is bitter. All right. Yes, I told you I will differentiate. I will take thermal away from the tactile image. Sense of temperature. He has no feelings. He can buy the crisp or slice of a frozen air. He can buy the crisp slice of a frozen air. That's that. And finally, we have what we refer to as the kinesthetic image, which refers to the sense of movement. Remember, thermal and kinesthetic are under what? Tactile. The wavy branches gives me awe. The waving branches give me awe. So that is what we have seen there. The waving branches give me awe. Take a look at that construction. So we have a lot of them that we are going to see as imagery. So at this point in time, I am privileged to let you know that all the figurative expressions we use emanate from imagery. The simile, the metaphor, the irony, the personification, they are all images created. That is why we have to take much time to explain this, because images are some of the literary terminologies we use. So, I have to promise you that at a different day we are going to talk extensively on the figurative terms, figurative speech, the simile, metaphor, modus operandi we use in English language. So after I got imagery, what else do we have to discuss? And terms that we use in writing or in speech, literary terms. Let's move straight to tragedy. What is tragedy? Wow. I believe you can recognize some persons on screen here. They are very happy, right? Saintly nuns. That is how that tragedy is a play dealing with tragic events. Or say tragic events, this event could be suffering, destruction, distress. And tragedy usually has unhappy ending, especially one that concerns the downfall of the innocent main character, the innocent hero. The main character in the write-up is referred to as a hero or protagonist. If it is a female, we say it is a heroine. So this is a character that is doing good. That is how we say innocent character, the main character. So when there is a bad thing that happens to him, at the end we call that play a tragedy. And who usually causes the tragedy? It is from the work of the antagonist. The antagonist is opposed to the progress of the protagonist. The protagonist is a good man or woman. If the protagonist is a man, we say hero. If it is a woman, we say heroine. If the protagonist is male, hero. If it is female, heroine. We should not forget that. I know you are paying attention on the screen to find out who you know and the one you do not know. Apart from the bad news of tragedy, I want to let you know we have what is called a comedy. Wow. What is comedy? It is a play that is characterized by its humorous or satirical tone and its depiction of amusing people or incidents. In other words, comedy makes you laugh from the beginning to the end. It has happy ending. It has happy starting and happy ending. There are different categories of comedy like Night of Thousand Laugh, Playlets, name them. So we just pay attention to comedy if we want to laugh it all. What do you say about this short clip from what is popular in Nigeria today, Mark Ede comedy? Pay attention to this comedy.
This compound. Nobody. Kid, come here. Where are the kidnappers?
Which kidnappers?
You said there's a kidnapping in your compound.
Yes. Look at the kid here.
How?
This is a kid. He is taking his nap.
Hey! Not again, not again!
What happened now?
Hey! God.
So how do you see that? It makes you laugh, right? If you watch the full clip, you will laugh to the end, from the beginning to the end. So this is a kind of comedy. Apart from comedy, we have tragic comedy. Tragic comedy brings together the elements of tragedy and comedy. Tragic comedy, you can see that it starts with tragedy and it ends with comedy. So tragic comedy usually ends in a happy note, even though it starts with a very sad note. Take note of that. Apart from the comedy, tragedy, tragicomedy, I will take you to an aspect that is called monologue. Other literary terms we are going to focus attention on. What do we mean by monologue? Monologue is an extended speech by one person. When we say monologue, it means one person is talking. There are two categories of monologue. You can see this man. It's like he's rehearsing the speech he wants to give the following day. He's not talking to anybody, he's talking to himself. So when the character talks to himself, it is monologue. So we want to streamline the two now. When the character talks to himself, we say it is soliloquy. But when the character talks to you, the audience watching in your various houses without other characters knowing, we call it aside. ASIDE. We call it aside. That's monologue. We have two categories, soliloquy and monologue. What about dialogue? Dialogue is a literary technique in which two persons or more communicate with each other. Look at the two family members, brother and sister. The sister said, brother, you look cute today. And the other one does what? Response. Thank you. So when two or more persons communicate with each other, we call it dialogue. The word dia means two. But in this situation, we use it to refer to two or more. We have other terms like setting we are going to pay attention to. What is setting? Setting is a narrative technique that is used in a play or any other prose setup that defines where and when the plot takes place. In other words, where is the plot taking place? Where the geographical setting? Is it in the village? Is it in the city? Is it in the metropolis like Lagos? Even if, when, if it is Lagos, is it Lagos 1960 or Lagos 2020, Lagos 2025, Lagos 2030? Name it. Lagos 2020, let me say Lagos in 1930 is just like your village 2020. Think about that, right? Don't worry, very soon your village will be as civilized as Lagos. But before then, Lagos will be like London. Don't you trust your country? All right. So your country can do that to make your village to be like Lagos. By then, Lagos might have metamorphosed into a better metropolis. That's about the setting, the place where the event in the story takes place, and the time setting in the history of mankind. Is it the olden days, the medium age, or the present day? And where? I said, whether it's the village, the city, urban, or what? A metropolis. I will give you another one that is called the plus. What is plus? Plus simply refers to the structuring, the ordering of events, the sequence of events in a story. Can you tell this story on your screen? Where is the story starting from and where is it ending? By just imagining them apparently, okay, this is where it starts from and this is where it's going to end. That is plus. This cause to effect relationship in literary work. What happens next, what happens after that, and how does it end? And that is exactly what we focus our attention on. The next one I will tell you is called point of view. Point of view refers to the narrative technique in which the writer uses different styles to tell the story. Could it be the first person narrative? Could it be in the second person narrative or the third person narrative? The first person uses the first person point of view using I or we. If as I'm talking to you, if I'm telling you about my life autobiography, it is used, that autobiography uses what? First person. I was born in the year 2015 and I attended primary 2 in your school and now I am this, I am that. That is first person. But when I'm talking to you, I will be using you. You were born so and so year and you attended so. That is called second person narrative technique. But if I want to gossip, I want to tell you about Israel, for example, I'll be saying he came to this school many years ago and he is the class captain of so class. In that situation, you will see that I am using he, she, or it as a third person. But let me use the word of my friend, the oga of them all is the omniscient narrative technique. That one is all knowing. That one will know when the character goes to the toilet, when the character goes to the bank, what the character does there, when the character returns home. So we have different points of view, but the four major categories are first person, second person, third person point of view, and the omniscient points of view. Are these the only literary terms we are going to focus attention on? No, these are just five on the list of many. Let's move straight to what's called allusion. What is allusion? Allusion is a brief reference to a person, place, events, or to another literary work. There are three categories of allusion. The biblical allusion, the word Bible, biblical allusion. We have the literary allusion, or should I say allusion, and we have what's called the historical allusion. Biblical allusion, when you make reference to what is in the Bible, we call it biblical allusion in literature. For example, you will say, wow, I won't doubt it. He is the Thomas of the class. You know who Thomas is in the Bible, right? That doubted that man that he was not Jesus. Say until I see where they pierce you with the war instruments, I will not believe that you are the one. He always doubts. So anyone that doesn't believe expression is called a Thomas. They call it doubting Thomas. So he doubts. So one that doubts, when you use that expression Thomas, we say it's a biblical allusion, historical allusion. When you make reference to what has happened in literature, rather what has happened in history, we call it historical allusion. For example, somebody will tell you and say, mathematics is my Achilles heels. How come? Why should Betty make reference to Achilles? Achilles, or what do you call him? You know the character very well. Now, this character, when he was born, has a lot of things that was done to him, so as nothing could happen to him during war. So his ankle, you know what's called ankle, right? The part of your leg that's close to your feet. The ankle or ankles were held upside down, put inside the concussion pot so as he will be fortified. But that area that the hands held the ankle, would the fortification concussion get to that place? No, rather it will get to the hands of the person that held it. But when he was coming, what happened? We went to go and fight war. When he grew up, he was conquering all the nations around him. But one day, as he was returning from war, after conquering all the cities around him, an amateur, someone who is not even a professional fighter, shot him in the heels. That is his weakness. So when you see somebody, so maybe someone that is not too good at mathematics, mathematics is his weakness. You could say mathematics is his Achilles heels. That's an allusion. You are making reference to history. I don't even know who gave birth to Achilles, but I know it's historical. The other one is called literary allusion. When you make reference to what is in literature. For example, in Julius Caesar, the king says to his wife, when his wife is against his going out, he says, coward dies many times before their death. But as for the valiant, they taste not death but once, saying death, a necessary end, will come when it will come. That is literary allusion. When you hear some people saying, me, afraid of death, for where death will come when it will come. It is not their words. They borrowed it from literature. And that is what we refer to as what? Literary allusion. What about soliloquy? We talked about soliloquy when we are making reference to monologue. Remember, we said we have two types of monologue when someone talks to himself, soliloquy and aside. When you are thinking, when I get home now, I'll eat this, I'll eat that, talking to yourself. That is soliloquy. In movies, you see that the person will just put his hand on his jaw and start thinking. What he's thinking, they will record it and you will hear. Have you not seen them? Excellent. We move to flashback. What is flashback? It is a sudden clear memory of past events. When you remember what happened to relate to the present, we call it flashback. You can see that somebody will say, this is how it happened. Before long, they will take you to what happened 1880, before my grandfather was born. That is flashback in literature. The next is theme. What is theme? Theme is the main idea in the literary work, the general idea, underlying message in the write-up. That is that message that is underlying in the write-up or play, prose, or poetry is referred to as what? The theme. The theme is actually the lesson that is drawn from it. What is seen from it? For example, the theme of jealousy. So person are said to be jealous. The theme of hatred, the theme of love. There are many. The next is the subject matter. Many a person confuses themselves with the word theme and subject matter. No. Subject matter is the story itself. What is it about? The story could be about marriage. Yes, the story could be about marriage. But in marriage, you could see theme of love, theme of hatred, theme of togetherness, depending on what the writer wants to teach. The next is comic relief. Wow, this is very good and also interesting. Comic relief is employed by writers to create to a kind of ease your tension. You know, when you are watching tragedy, you see your favorite character, maybe the one they call actor. Your favorite character is acting, he's trying. You see Jim Ike, for example. Jim Ike has been doing very well. All of a sudden, the father asks him to leave the house and not to come back again. Now you see him go to the father's bedroom to go and take money to travel abroad. And as he just in the father's bedroom, you see the father driving in. The man that has gone to work in the morning automatically just start driving into the compound. Unusual. You say, hey, Mumu, be fast and leave that place. Are you not tense? Yes. All of a sudden, while that is happening, you see Mr. Bean coming to talk to the mic father. You can see your friend, right? So this is comic relief to ease your tension. That Mumu, be fast and leave that place, Joe. Oh, they will catch you. Oh, this boy want to kill himself. Now, another character will just come and play a role in the scene to make you laugh, to ease your tension. That is called comic relief. The next is character and characterization. Character is the person or persons in the narrative, while the characterization refers to how other characters describe the character. Who are you? What role do you play? So the role you play is your characterization. If you play the role of a gate man, that is your characterization. But the name you bear is your character. So we should have that in mind. The next is diction. What is diction in literature? Diction refers to a style of speaking or writing that is determined by the choice of words of the writer. The word you have decided to use in piece of literature is called your diction, not a phonetics. In English language, some people refer to it as phonetics. That's test of a oral. Are we going to learn now? Even the diction we have in Lagos that most people teach, that's not the real diction. That's why we have to be natural and tell you how some words are pronounced so that when you travel abroad, you will not become should I use the word GGC? Thank you for giving me permission. So that is diction, the choice of words. Are the words chosen by the writer difficult to comprehend? Are the words very easy to understand? We know that. The next is plagiarism. Have you heard of this before? Plagiarism. Plagiarism is an art of using another person's work without acknowledging such person. For example, your teacher in economics, in social studies gives you an assignment. You will just go straight to the internet, copy and paste. You will not say, you will not put the source. According to John Pepper Clark, so and so is so and so. No, you must put it. Reference John Pepper Clark, published 1920. That is where you got the material from. You will ask some people, where did you get the answer? From my head. What is in your head? Do you have anything in your head? All right, please, it is not from your head. You always make reference to persons. By the time we say it from your head, that is when we are talking about um, ideas. Whatever idea you use now are already in existence. So you go and write your project first before we know whether something is in your head. Even teachers make references. The next I will talk about is persona. Wow, it is spelled wrong. Persona. Ah, nah. The spelling is not wrong. This persona, in plural form, just add E. That is plural. This persona refers to the person talking from a piece of work. It's the person that is understood to be speaking or thinking the particular work. That is persona. So we should not misspell it. When we say poetic persona, it means the person that is talking, not the writer. It could be the writer, but the one that is talking, who is assumed to be talking, is the persona. And finally, we have poetic license. Poetic license refers to the liberty given to poets or writers to use their words the way they want. For example, I'm not going. Going me not. When I tell you going me not, you say, I mean, Mr. Joy has taken alcohol. Oh no, I have a poetic license to write. So when you grow up, devise your own poetic license so that you could write whatever you like, but you must define and defend it, right? So far, so good. What have we been talking about? We have been talking about literary terminologies. And we say that every good writer in literature uses terminologies that may not be easily deciphered by listeners. How many of you, after some while, you will just get home or getting home, you don't remember what happened in class, you start laughing, ha 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 ha. Just imagine that. When it happened in the scale, you were not laughing, you didn't laugh. On getting home, you just remember, you start laughing. Because the person might have created some impression for you to go and laugh at. That is deciphering. It is now you have understood it. as the person spoke, you did not pay attention that time. Now you got home, you reflected and you understood. So you start laughing. They will say she busted out laughing. Busted. B-U-S-T-E-D. Busted. That is that. So we say that all figure of speech, they emanate from where? Imagery. The imagery help to paint mental pictures. That's why we have the auditory image. We talk about the olfactory, the gustatory. What else do you remember? The tactile, the visual. So there are many. There are just 5 key types of imagery we have said. So we should not forget. And we talked about other literary terms starting from the comedy, tragedy, tragicomedy, and some other literary terminologies. So I want you, if possible, you pay attention to this slide again, watch the video, and see what you can learn from it. Remember, the more you learn, the better you are. I want to thank you very much for paying attention to this video. If you have actually liked it, please you can watch it again and again. Feel free to send messages to ask questions in any gray area of the teaching. It's your boy, Joel. Peace out.